Takes note
Mr.
of miscellaneous business. The Honourable Dr. Jonathan Coleman.
Mr. Speaker, there's a lot to look forward to in New Zealand right now. We've got the Northland by-election, we've got National continuing to deliver for families, and of course, we've got the Cricket World Cup quarter-finals. And Mr. Speaker, I am looking forward to welcoming my new colleague into Parliament, Mark Osborne, when he turns up here on Tuesday, March the 31st, after a great win in Northland. But what a lonely place it must be in Northland right now for the Labor candidate, because the Labor candidate has no backing from the Labor Party hierarchy. Andrew Little doesn't even want her to win, and that must be a terrible place to be. And have you seen any Labor Party MPs up there? No. Where's David Cunliffe been? He's been stuck up the Cowrie tree in West Auckland. Though in the end he decided he might be more use on the ground, although his leader had a slightly different opinion. Where's Phil Goff been? He's been off campaigning to be the mayor. They're not backing her at all. Meanwhile, Winston's wandering around promising to take action, flying around in a helicopter, promising to take action on the closure of fictional health centres which were never even opened. So it's all pretty strange up there. It's getting pretty wild. But Mr. Speaker, what I can say is National is delivering for families in Northland. There's no question about that. If you look at the area I'm responsible, health, there's been a huge increase in what's been going on up there. 8,500 Northlanders got elective surgery there last year, Mr. Speaker. We've been really tackling the tough problems of rheumatic fever. A 25% decrease in the rate there over the past year. The initiatives around healthy homes, the health promotional activity, the free sore throat clinics, the drop-in clinics, the throat swabbing. We are really focused on these tough problems in Northland. I can also say, Mr. Speaker, you heard my colleague Stephen Joyce today talking about the 7,500 new jobs in Northland last year. 6,600 of which are full-time. Northland's economy grew by 5.1% last year. That's the highest rate in New Zealand. So it's all go ahead in Northland. Of course, we've got the Puhoi to Wellsford Road coming up. We've got the broadband initiatives, which is going to extend fibre optic cable to places like Kaikoui, Kaitaia, Kerikeri. There's a lot to look forward to in that part of the country. Treaty settlements going ahead up there. The Twin Coast Cycle Trail, that's going to inject $20 million into that economy over the next 5 years. 250 jobs, new jobs for Northlanders. There is a lot to vote for positively in that part of the country. Of course, Mr. Speaker, the outlook economically in New Zealand, 3.2% growth. That's massive. Wages grew 15% over the past 5 years. 80,000 jobs in New Zealand over the past year. Inflation at 0.8%, while weekly average wages grew 2.5% over the past year. Unemployment only 5.7%, much lower than Australia. And of course we know that Kiwis are flocking back here. Meanwhile, the balance of payments deficit, that's shrunk to 2.6% of GDP, getting smaller all the time. We're going to hit surplus this year. Debt is under control. We're heading to 20% of GDP by 2020. It's looking good, but we're continuing to focus on families. So 300,000 houses are insulated nationwide under this government. An increase in paid parental leave, Mr. Speaker. We're providing breakfast in schools. In education, Hekia Parata is providing leadership, basically bolstering the teaching profession. ECE investments being doubled. Home Start programs getting young Kiwi families into new homes. We've reduced ACC levies. So in short, Mr. Speaker, Kiwi families much better off. And of course, the progress in welfare. What does that mean, Mr. Speaker?
That means you have 1 minute.
Oh, rightio. 48% fewer teen. I thought it was the finger. Never mind. 48% fewer teen mums on benefits since 2009. Mr. Speaker, I know you'll agree the Black Caps have started winning since the change in portfolio. It's been quite remarkable. The World Cup has been great for New Zealand. Mr. Speaker, John Key and Brendan McCullum, they back themselves. They're on the front foot. Andrew Little is like someone going out to face the West Indies without a box on. Hesitant, fearful, wandering around the crease. Mr. Speaker, New Zealanders back winners. They back John Key, they're backing National, and go the Black Caps on Saturday for a great World Cup quarter-final.